Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Allied from AFK Esports. Yeah, I am the Hunter player, and I'm not good at this, but I'm gonna give you guys my version of the Smite tier list in general, like what I think is like the strongest gods in general. This is DM Brandon's tier list. I'm gonna do a couple revisions and kind of replace some of the gods and like certain tiers that I don't think where they should be, and give you guys at least um my version of what I think the tier list is currently. I believe I actually took this from Incontinentia because he did kind of a revision on the tier list, so I'm gonna give you guys my version and also a bonus at the end of the video, or maybe in a different video. I'm going to put up an 80 carry tier list because I do get a lot of questions with that kind of stuff. So, starting it off for SS tier, there's no one right now I think is worthy of SS tier besides maybe Athena Sylvanas, but they're not that ban worthy, really. I'm just going to leave SS tier really out of there. There's no one that's really game breakingly broken. Um, there hasn't been anything like that since, I don't know, maybe Release Nemesis? I don't fucking know. So, yeah, going on with that. For S plus tier, I like it, except Honor is going down. He's not that good. Yeah, like he's good, but he's not like first pick, first ban material. Read the legends. He's not top tier by any means. He's good. He's not first pick, first ban material though. So first pick, first ban material in competitive play would be your Athena, your Sylvanas. Bologna is potentially up there. Thor, I'm gonna say not so much. So I'm gonna drop her down a little bit. Just drop her down. Who else would be first pick, first ban? Circuit potentially up there, depending on what's available. So I guess I could put Circuit up there if I can fucking find her. There she is. And I guess that's really it. And even then, I wouldn't really always first pick, first ban Circuit, but you could really set up a team around Circuit. So this is generally your first pick, first ban material. S plus tier. I don't really think there's anything much to it. Athena, Sylvanas, Bologna, Circuit. So they're all really strong in the competitive meta right now. Athena can go in multiple roles. Global Ultimate, just she not only that her scaling is really good, her base damage is amazing. She has block stacks, so you can't even auto attack her. She has a 2 second AoE taunt. Like, okay, like I don't know what Hyros was thinking when they were obviously high when they were making Athena, but she has not received that many nerfs to make her in line, and she will continue to be very dominant for the years to come. Sylvanas being up there as well. Sylvanas with pro buff automatically wins all lane matchups no matter what. Great AoE knockup. Wrath of Terra being probably one of the best moves in the game. He brings sustain, ranged cone auto attacks. Like, he's just fucking good. Bologna is the captain of bullshit, being able to have 3 weapons. Just, she's good. She can go jungle, support. I don't fucking know. She can do anything she wants. She's amazing. And Circuit, obviously, everyone knows and remembers Circuit. But I put Circuit, like, I guess, towards the end here. Because even then, like, I think she'll always be banned. But it takes really good players to really know how to use Circuit effectively. I mean, I could barely spell Circuit. So, I couldn't play her at the absolute top level. Now, for S tier, I think Agni is good. This is not going to be in any particular order, but I think Agni is definitely S tier material. Boxer is definitely S tier. Bastet. These are probably gods that you want to go for to craft your team comp around just to really set your team up really well. I think Scylla is up here. I don't think Tyr is up here. I'm gonna drop Tyr down to like A. I'll fix that later. Like, I think Tyr is good, but he's like eh. Yanis, I think Yanis would probably be like an S minus character. Well, I think he's very good, but in a competitive setting, it's really hard to kind of pick Yanis right now just because of the importance of mid harpies, and Yanis doesn't really bring much to the tables there. Yeah, you can rotate, but you could just play back and not get like make Yanis useless. So overall, I think Yanis is like an S minus character. While he can be good in the lower levels of competition, the true top level of competition, he's not really valued that much. Hunt Snacks, really good. Hercules, I'm gonna drop Hercules down to like an A plus. I'll probably fix that up later. Hades, I think Hades is an S minus as well. While he's like really good, he's like Yeah, there's only like one person in the fucking world that can really win with Hades in Soul Lane, and even then you have to have incredible matchup knowledge and also backing from your team being like set up really well to kind of win your lane. He doesn't really lose too many matchups, but he will lose to like a good Hebo, Bakasura, etc. Like those characters will dump on Hades. So for now, I'll just drop. I think Hades is definitely up here, but I'll probably put him in the S minus. Maybe I'll bring him back up to S. We'll see as I start organizing this list around. Kronos, I'm gonna drop him down to A. I think he's just a really good pick. Like he's not like broken. He's not like the go-to pick. He is just a really good pick. No need to nerf him. No need to buff him. He's in a really good spot. But by no means like an S tier character. You wouldn't early pick a Kronos, because that's asking to feed your brains out. He's more of a counter pick character, I'd say. Basta, yeah, Cupid definitely S tier. I think he's really good. Early game dominant, more of a support hunter. Past early game, very strong. Hunt snacks already said. Rama obviously one of the strongest hunters right now. I think he's just amazing. Scylla could be up there. I'm gonna put him like on the second row, I guess. I like Scylla, but I don't know. I'm gonna bring Poseidon up here. I think Poseidon's like a really good go-to pick. Like if you don't know what else to pick for middle, like if you're in a tournament game and there's $1 million on the line, and you have no idea what you want to go middle, you're probably gonna go Poseidon. Like he's like the go-to right now. Most people like him. Great early game, great mid game, falls off a little bit late game, and burst damage more. He more or less relies on like auto attacking, whirlpool, cripples, bullshit. Like Poseidon's just fucking good. Thor's definitely here. I'm gonna put him up in the upper row. Same thing with Shibalanka. Shibalanka is up there. I think the top two 80 carries are Rama and Shibalanka, but I'll go over that in my hunter kind of tier list. But for now, this is like an overall tier list in terms of picking, because I'm going off the fucking legend. So in the legends, these are your top tiers. That's plus tier, first pick, first ban material. These guys are kind of like what you go to, right? And this is what I would go to. I would go to On Her, Scylla. You could definitely early pick a Scylla, but I don't know if it's recommended. And yeah, for now, I think that is it. Let's check. Oh yeah, Geb. Geb for sure is in the S tier area, not S minus by any means. I want to say Nemesis, but Nemesis is more of a counter pick, not really much of a go-to. I would put Uller up there, but I think he's okay in like the S minus. I might even drop him down to A. I think Uller's he's just solid overall. Isis, I don't even know what Isis is an A plus tier. Isis is like an S tier kind of character, really good early game, laning phase, and becomes more of a CC support mage middle, which is what really mid lane is. I mean, there's not too many carry middles besides Aimlessly Stealth who will go Scylla or Zeus or something to carry the game with. But most mid mains in the competitive scene are usually support mids, and that's really what you get out of these picks. Agni, Isis, Poseidon, they're more support picks. Like, yeah, they can carry a game, yeah, they do shit tons of damage, but also you can't forget the fact that they bring butt tons of utility with Isis silence, slows, bullshit, Agni stuns, Poseidon whirlpool with the cripple, like just overall good stuff. Okay, I think that is it for the S minus tier. I'm gonna put Artemis on poo poo A minus tier. I'll probably fix that up later. She is not by any means S minus. She has a lot of bad matchups and a lot of hard times in terms of viability like picking. Like it's really, you have to like last pick Artemis before you can really like get the full use out of her. S minus also I'm gonna put Bacchus. I think Bacchus is definitely up there, really strong. Even like before the buff, I think Bacchus was just really good. The only thing he really suffers in is his poo-poo garbage laning phase. So, moving on. Yanis, I think, could potentially be up there. There's the Hades. Nemesis, I'll put Nemesis here because Nemesis is still bullshit, but just not as highly valued as the other junglers right now. She doesn't bring a lot of early game potential in terms of setting up kills. She's more of a late game assassin because she can one-shot people with her ult 2 combo. A couple auto attacks, she can reflect damage. She has great mobility, but she doesn't really have the early game damage to be considered like a top tier jungler, and that's really the only thing separating her, in my opinion. Vimana, okay, like Vimana is just a good character, not by any means S minus tier. Now for the A plus tier, I guess we could put Ra. I think Ra is like right there. Like he needs a little bit more oomph. It'd be S tier material, but he's like right there. I guess you could put him in A plus. Hercules, I think is just good. Like I don't think there's anything special about Hercules. You know, more of like Soul Lane's more about the matchups anyway. So I think, he's just good. I'll put Arachne A tier. I think a good Arachne is scary. A lot of things can happen. The only things about Arachne is that she has her downsides where, in a good team composition, it's really hard for her to get in. However, her early game is beyond crazy. You can stir up a quick win if you get a couple kills early game with Arachne. Early Gold Furies, mid Harpy control. You can even invade all the time. Like I think Arachne is extremely underrated, but really hard to pull off in the competitive scene. I really have only seen like two people do that, and that's like Mask and Weaken. Rip Mask 2015. Uh, let's see what else could potentially be an A plus tier. Thanatos. Thanatos could definitely be up there. I think Thanatos is underrated. I really like the competitive meta right now is mostly like early game, and really there's no better early game than Thanatos Arachne. Like you can't really go wrong with that. So I think Thanatos is extremely underrated and is a really good pick. You just can't go wrong with it. Now for the rest of A tier, I think Freya A tier, yeah. I'll just move her over here. This is in no specific order, by the way. I'm just kind of thinking what I would want to be A plus A tier. I think most of A tier seems really strong. I'll move Hu Yi down. I think Hu Yi is like poo poo, like B tier probably. We'll go over that later. Kali, very strong A tier. I think Fenrir is A tier as well. A lot of these characters are just fucking solid. Can't really go wrong with them. Vulcan. I think Ymir is potentially A plus tier because I know for a fact Ymir brings a lot more to the table than most other supports, and he potentially could make it to S tier if like Athena, Sylvanas, Geb weren't in the picture. Like if Athena, Sylvanas, Geb got nerfed right now, Ymir would be undisputed best support, like probably first pick. Like, but because those supports are in the table, it's really hard to kind of like pick Ymir, especially because he has so many weaknesses. He can get caught out really easily. He does have crazy base stats though, so I'll bring him up to A tier for now. I'll just hold him there. Kukulkan, I think Kukulkan's actually poo poo. I'll put him down to A minus. Loki is definitely A tier. I think if he gets off strong and picks it, Loki is picked instead of right matchups. I think Loki is deadly. Mercury I think is still really good, just very situational jungle pick. I might even put him down a tier spot. Let me read the legend. The focal of balance. Yeah, I think Mercury's there. He's definitely there. Neja, same thing. I think Neja is very underrated, but I don't know about in terms of competitive viability. It has to be an extremely like situational pick that like that person's like, whoa, I'm so good at Neja, and these are all like you meet the criteria of picking Neja. Then yeah, go ahead pick Neja, but very situational pick. Nuwa, I think, is still really good, but I don't see a point of picking her right now. It's just there's better options on the table. Sobek, very strong support. Not valued as highly as the other supports, but he's still really good, depending on the situation. Most competitive play, like, there's support bans, so I guess you could find a situation to pick Sobek, but same thing for Ares. I think Ares is really strong. I forgot to go over this. Ares, Aphrodite, Chalk, so they're all really strong, but mostly situational picks. I might even bring Chalk down a tier, but for now, I think he's just solid. Like, there's not really much wrong with him, but I'll bring Chalk down. Chalk down just a little bit right here. Chang'e, really strong. Vulcan, obviously, I love Vulcan. I think he's still good, just not really picked for whatever reason. Mostly because he has bad matchups with a lot of the top tier mids, like Poseidon, Agni, Isis, dumpster Vulcan in lane. But if that wasn't so much the case, then Vulcan would be a lot stronger of a pick. Tier, just very solid soul lane pick. Can't really go wrong with a tier. Kronos, as mentioned before, is really good. Ulur's really good. I think he's a situational pick, but the situations that you pick him for could make him really just good pick for your team. I pick Ullr a lot, especially in scrims. I haven't really picked him yet in competitive because I'm waiting for the right time, but I think Ullr is definitely strong. He has great clear, etc. Mono Hercules are just good warriors. So let's go over A minus right now. Amuz and Cobb. I think he deserves to be an A minus. Like he's there, but he's not quite there because of X, Y, and Z. Like he has really weak early game. You really have to like find a good team comp to put Amos and Cobb in there, and that's the same. It's the same. Like I think of Amos and Cobb as the same tier as Artemis, except Artemis laning phase is a little bit better, but suffers from the same kind of things, right? So like Artemis excels in team fights and excels in late game and is like one of the best late game hyper carries. Same thing. Same thing with Amos and Cobb, but both of them have like really hard time escaping ganks and these kind of initiating team comps. Like for example, if you get like a Nemesis, Poseidon, Thor on the same team for whatever reason, they'll just make sure that Artemis can, never farm because they're just gonna keep camping her over and over again. Same thing with Amuz and Cobb. I think they're just situational picks, which puts them right below the A tier. I'll go over that more when I do my AD carry tier list. Zhang Kuei is very good. I don't know why he's an A minus. Zhang Kuei is very good, A tier for sure. Definitely love him in the A tier. Now Kukulkan I think is poo poo tier. I'm gonna put him more on like the A minus. I think he just needs maybe like a small buff to kind of make him A tier viable. But you can still pick him and do really well. He has good features to him. Chalk very strong, but he does have some kind of like weak points in my opinion. Besides like his clear in soul lane's good, and he doesn't really lose too many matchups because at most you can always stalemate the lane with Chalk, but it doesn't really bring anything to the table. If his 3, which was like the fucking rain, if that brought an attack speed debuff, Chalk would be valued way higher. But for now, Chalk is just like fucking, he's okay. He just brings an AoE silence to the table. And when you only bring an AoE silence, you get overshadowed by some picks like fucking Bologna, who can do everything and more. So, no point of really picking Chalk in the competitive scene. Hell and Osiris, they could be picked, but they're like, eh. I think Anubis is underrated, but there's no point of actually picking him besides like maybe early Gold Furies or assassinations ganks from Anubis. But I'll put him B plus tier for now. He's really strong. It's just like when you compare him to like Agni, Poseidon, Isis, why pick him? So if these 3 kind of mages are on the table, there's no point of actually picking Anubis. Same thing for Scylla. Scylla, Scylla's even way better than Anubis, way safer. Anubis doesn't even have an escape, so I'll put him in like the B plus tier. I think it's very good situational pick, but not as valued as the other mages on the table. Ao Kuang has so many bugs with him. I'll leave him on B tier. He could be a potential hyper carry, and if he gets fed, he can carry a game. But there's so much things wrong with him. It's not really much of a point to actually pick him. So I think I'll leave him on B tier. Apollo. I think Apollo is more of like a B plus. He's a lot worse right now because he has no clear. Like, they nerfed his clear, and it costs a lot of mana to actually clear. They nerfed a knock-up on his ult that really hurt him when he came crashing down, because that was kind of like the thing with Apollo. You kind of free-farmed, and you ulted over, and you caused a lot of disruption on top of a lot of burst damage, and you're kind of like, hey, I'm here, like, what's up? And you just clean up all the kills, right? But now with all the nerfs, he's just okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's just stronger AD carries right now, so I think it's a really good situational pick. But I wouldn't know when to actually pick him. The only time I ever picked him, believe it or not, was during the SPL qualifiers, and I picked him against Loki AD carry because Apollo versus Loki in the dual lane is still a positive matchup for Apollo. I think Awilix is really strong. I'm actually gonna put her on A tier. I don't know why people pick her. She might have a weaker early game, and also people probably don't pick her because there's so many better junglers that are more reliable and that bring more for the mid Harpy fights. But I think with the right team composition, you could potentially make a Willix work. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything potentially wrong with a Willix. There's just no point of actually picking her when you have all these other junglers on the table. Kabrakan is poo poo. I'll put him like C tier. I think Kabrakan's like bad. Like, I love Kabrakan. I just think he's bad. I think Guan Yu's really good. Definitely a strong A tier character. Brings a lot to the table. You could bring him soul lane, could bring him support, brings healing. He has a slow. You can slow multiple people with your slow, and he debuffs. He shreds protections. Like, there's not too many characters that can actually do that in this game. So having him around, especially with the lack of penetration items early game, you could blow someone up with the right combination of stuff. And then over here we have Hebo. Hebo is just in a tough spot. I'm gonna put him like here, B tier with everyone else. Like, there's no point of picking it. I'd rather pick an Anubis over a Hebo, weirdly enough, just because at least Anubis
Yeah.
can farm safely. As someone's talking on Mumble, I'm gonna actually mute that. That's so weird. But as weird as it sounds, like Hebo is strong. Like, yeah, he's good. You could potentially like hyper carry a game with him. But the biggest things are with Hebo is that he has a horrible laning phase, really horrible early game, and if he gets shut down, he'll just feed like his brains out. He has very weak escapability, and he's really hit or miss, and that's the problem with Hebo's kit. So I'm gonna keep him like at a strong B tier. Kumba, I think Kumba's very underrated, and I think he is definitely A tier viable. It's just the right time and place to actually pick him with your team composition. Neith, I think Neith is just okay. I'll put her B plus tier. She's not like B tier. B tier is like still somewhat strong but not competitively viable in all situations. So that's pretty much where she's at. She cannot carry games to save her life. That's her biggest thing is she's more of a support hunter. You set up your team with good setups when your root, you have your weave and your root, your global ultimate. So you kind of want to set your team up afar. You're not so much like, and she has really strong laning phase. Probably one of the best pushes in the game, right next to Ambuz and Cobb in the dual lane. But besides that, there's not really much to pick her because she doesn't carry, and you really need to like you're looking when you pick Neith, you're looking to set up your other lanes to carry, not so much to get all the kills and carry yourself because Neith is just a support hunter. Now, Odin. Odin is definitely very strong in the right team composition. I'm gonna put him like A tier. I think he's in the right spot. Where did he go? Wait, did my Odin just? Hello, where did my Odin go, dude? Whatever. Okay, whatever. So Odin is A tier for sure, but he disappeared. Am I blind? Okay, it doesn't matter. So Odin is definitely A tier. I think he's strong. He's good at jungling, soul lane, support. Like he could do a lot of roles. People just don't really give him a chance, especially with the buff on his scaling. He's more of a carry now. So I'd like to see more Odins. Wukong I think is poo poo. I'm gonna put him on B tier. Not really good soul laner, not really good support. Doesn't really bring much to the table. He does have a lot of survivability, but no point of picking him. Gonna keep him in B tier. Zeus, I think, is strong, but he has no survivability. Kind of in the same tier as Hebo. Really having like he has bad laning phase. He has really bad early game. No push. He's basically Hebo, except I guess he brings a little bit more to the table because his team fight is a little like crazy, like especially with a good lightning bounce from his chain lightning, you could potentially like deicide someone. But getting to that point against a top level team is just really hard, and he's an extremely situational pick. So knowing the right situations to pick Zeus, I mean, if you can do that, God bless. More to you. But for now, I'm just gonna keep him on B tier. Hu Yi just doesn't really bring anything to the table. Like he has a great team fight if he can get there. His laning phase is piss poor shit. His clear is really bad. His ricochet got buffed, and like you can kind of hit cool dank 420 bounce shots, but besides that, like they don't even do that much damage, and they're still really hard to hit, making him, I guess you could say, unreliable in the damage department. And if you're picking a hunter, you kind of want reliable damage. Yeah, you can get really good at Hu Yi and find a situation to pick him, but that's what really Hu Yi is. He's a very situational pick. He's not completely competitively viable. There may be like one point in time where you ever pick him, but yeah, that's about it. I think Nox could potentially be B tier as well. Nox isn't that bad. Definitely a game changer. Just no point of actually picking her. I think Bracken is just bad. They need to completely fix this kit. I might even put him D tier, but probably not. And Medusa is new, so I probably would put her like S plus, but even then, like I don't know. But yeah, that is my little video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll throw it up on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, etc. And make sure you guys follow all my social media, my Twitch, my Twitter, my Facebook. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a comment. Let me know if I should do more. And I will. Thank you guys for watching.